So let's talk about breakups. You've been broken up with, or somebody broke up with you. One of the two happens, and you feel torn about it either way. Usually you do. You feel torn about breaking up with him or her, or you feel torn about her breaking up with you, or him breaking up with you. And it just it just gives you this weird feeling like nobody in the world would ever replace that person, your significant other. And what you got to understand yourself is that there are people who won't be able to replace them, but they'll be able to do something better than they've done for you. And that's something a lot more, that's something far greater than what you had before, because you live and you learn. And whether you believe it or not, you live, you learn, you experience. You experience a lot of things, you live and you learn. And living and learning just comes with doing stuff. I mean, just doing stuff that, just doing whatever the hell you want. Living your life, really. You live and you learn. No matter what you do, you're going to live and you're going to learn something new every single time. I can guarantee you. And you might feel depressed. You might feel everybody's against you, but in reality, nobody's against you. You're only against yourself. You're against yourself, and if you're against yourself and you're showing that to other people, then they're gonna start turning it against you also. But what you can do to fix that is you got to you can't express your happiness, or your sadness. I'm sorry. You can't express your depression. You can't express it. You got to express happiness. Expressing happiness is a lot better, because not only will people be happy with you, but the crazy thing is some people can actually identify whether or not you're hurting. And you know, once they identify whether or not you're hurting, those are the type of people who care if they, say something about it. And those are the type of people who can give you a tip or two. I'm not gonna say help you completely, because that's on you. That's all on you. But getting a tip or two from other people is good. I mean, exchanging tips. Telling people about your experiences and them telling you about their experiences. And I can say a lot of people have experienced what you've experienced, and there's a lot of people who haven't either. I mean, there's a lot of people on this earth, and some people have, some people haven't, And whether you have or you have not, that doesn't mean they can't help you. Even though they haven't experienced, a breakup, that doesn't mean they can't help you. I mean, you don't really know anybody's life. You really don't. And people can be mysterious like that. People are mysterious like that, and people are just like they surprise you. They surprise you every single day, and that's how it's supposed to really work, really. But to take your mind off of the things, I mean, what I usually did, when I was feeling a little depressed, or I would listen to sad music, just to get all that depression out. That's how I felt. I felt like to get all that depression out, just so I don't have to deal with it anymore. But in reality, I mean, it does work to a certain extent. But once you overdo it, it's just like, oh my gosh, this is not good. So what you could do is do something productive. What I do is give people advice. I give people advice on my experiences, based on my experiences. And I also play video games. I like to play video games. And I've loved playing video games for a long time. And I played the original PlayStation. I played Sega. I played Sega Dreamcast. I'm a 90s kid, so leave me alone on the 80s consoles, because I played Atari and stuff like that. But it's just it's an escape. It's an escape to another world, to where you can be anybody you want, because it's gaming online. I'm gaming online right now. What you're watching right now is me gaming online. And being online, you could be anybody you want. And in this case, you're pretty much a freaking warrior. and but it's your decision to arm yourself with the good weapons and also, slay. And this game is part of my road to commander, so of course it's not going to be like highlights of my best games. And just honestly, you just gotta play. You'll meet people, you'll meet other people and stuff like that. Just play for the fun of it, really. If you're a competitive person, sure, go for the competitive stuff and stuff like that. But surprisingly not. Surprisingly, me personally, I'm not a competitive person. I don't like to be competitive, I should say. I do not like to be competitive a lot of the time. And as crazy as that sounds, I've done track, I've done football and stuff like that. One of the fastest men in the state of New Mexico. I really don't like being competitive. And why? Because I have nothing to prove. I really have nothing to prove a lot of the time, when I'm competing for events like such as a track meet or something like that. Or a football game, or even just playing video games online. I really have nothing to compete for. I mean, not compete for, I'm sorry. I really have nothing to prove. I really have nothing to prove to anybody but myself. I prove stuff to myself, that's about it. But other than that, I just really have nothing else to prove to anybody. Anybody on earth, really. Now, there's some people there's some exceptions too. But I can get into that later. But the thing is, it's just video games is something to take your mind off of it. You may not even be into video games. You could be into art, drawing your emotions. You could be getting into dancing. Dancing is probably one of the best things to do when you're depressed because you can come up with. You're surprised what you can come up with this is in dancers' terms. You're surprised what you can come up with out of just straight emotion. And some people told me, because I'm a dancer myself, some people told me that, dance comes from strictly emotion. And instead of just, saying something, why don't you, show? Do more showing. And that was something to take my mind off. It made me feel a lot better afterwards, and then it made me think. And thinking is something that I do a lot. And like I said, living and learning, sometimes I make the best decisions, sometimes I make the worst decisions. It all depends. But that can also apply to girls. Now, being depressed all over it is a bad decision. You got to keep moving on. Just what lies ahead, and only one way to find out is to move on. All right? And like I said, you may feel like that you may feel like that's the only person that really matters to you. But I can guarantee you're going to find somebody better. And it's pouting over the breakup is not going to do anything. Looking in the past is not going to do anything. You tried some action. Maybe you tried, to get your significant other back. It didn't work out. You tried multiple times. It just didn't work out. There comes a point to where it's not going to be called giving up if you just stop. It's not giving up. It's just something. Let's just apply it to. I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste any more time, pouting over this person who supposedly cared for me. And that's what you gotta go into mindset of.